Welcome to Talladega. Today we have the Bonfire Racing League race number 9 here at Talladega for today's Ignition Point Racing 200 as qualifying just getting underway here from just over the 2.5 mile super speedway. As here's Jason Landry coming to start his first lap, coming to start his second lap actually. As qualifying is getting underway here, so these drivers 10 minutes to set 2 laps. We'll see who can get the fastest time. Jason Landry going to start his first lap here, starting his second lap here off a turn, off the trial hole. Just stay high on the racetrack to get that good run down to turn 1. Actually, no, this will be his second lap. Sorry about that. This will be his first lap. Timing is going messed up just a little bit. Put down the back straightaway. Jason Landry gonna try and put it on the pole. There's no drivers yet on their second lap. First lap for Landry, 55.595. I'll see how anyone qualifying today. Let's see if anyone who can put it on the pole. Jason Landry. Let's see what line he will run. Really good line here. You want to kind of stay up higher on the trial and really get that arc down into turn 1. As here's Landry. He's way down low. Down in the turn number 1. He's going to stay to the apron as the times will start to flood in here. So you see Jason Landry's first lap. You see all the first laps starting to come in there. Jared Kelly 53.919, the fastest first lap. As all those drivers on lap number 2 now. David Medina Sr. just drops in. As a lot of these drivers on their second lap now, down the back straightaway. Landry a little bit lower on the racetrack, right on that first dotted white line. Wrap that double yellow line through 3 and 4. We'll see if Landry can go any faster. Jerry Kelly had the fastest first lap coming to the trial here. Not allowed to use the apron, so all these drivers have to stay above the double yellow line. Todd Dunn slots in for his first lap. Jason Landry across the line will be a 53.947. That will go second. Jared Kelly to the top of the board still with a 53.919. So it went for the first lap for Jared Kelly. David Medina Sr. hops up to second. Only 7,000 slower. Jake O'Shea through the line there, 54.072 for O'Shea. Todd Dunn coming through the line here. We're coming to complete his second lap. We'll see where he goes. To the line, Todd Dunn, 54.083. Jake Johnson, lap number 2 here. Chicago Lanat on lap number 2 here, off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway, very low on the racetrack. It'd typically be a little bit higher, but we'll see if anything picks up. First lap with a 54.004. I believe he went for lap number 1 with that lap speed there. Mandela moves up to 6.54 flat. It's a lot crossing the line. This is for next lap there, 54.146. Ricky Mandela just jumped up to 6th after that first lap. We'll see what he does here on lap number 2. As Jax Duvall jumps up to P3, so a lot of these drivers going for one lap qualifying. First lap. See where Mandela goes, hops it to the apron. Slide off the racetrack, gotta avoid that drain down there, avoid that bump. 54.037, second slower for lap number 2 there. Jax Duvall, second lap, pulls it into pit road. Stephen Neal crossing the line. It's going to be a 54.070. They'll jump up to 18. 3 drivers on their second lap now. On their first lap now. Kevin Kyle Going for lap number 1. We'll see how much he comes off the apron. Good amount. So keep set left sides on that double white line. How really does he arc it? Really good down the back straightaway. As Michael Benson jumped up to 22nd, but Kevin Kyle down into turn 3. Really good line there through 3 and 4. Just a little bit. Good run for Kevin Kyle. Gonna dive it to the apron. Gonna get it on the apron. Gonna ride that grass. Don't want to go too high up. And a good lap there for Kevin Kyle. It'll be a 53.951. That's gonna jump him up to P3. Really good lap for Kevin Kyle. Michael Benson on lap number 2 coming to the line. First lap was a 54.096. We'll see if he picks up anything on lap number 2. Don't think he will. 070 barely picks up there. I'll jump up just a few spots. And Gerald Rose on lap number 2, the last driver to qualify. There is 3 drivers that have yet to take the racetrack, and I don't think they will be able to get there in time. And get out in time. But Gerald Rose down to the apron. Lap number 2 gonna be a 54.146. Slower there for Gerald Rose. So Kevin Kyle on lap number 2. We'll see if he picks up anything on lap 2. Don't think he will. 54.049. He'll stay in 3rd. Jax Duvall still sitting in pit road. Who's going to go out but complete his 2nd lap here? Oh, he's going to do a little burnout. Jax Duvall celebrates a little bit at the end of qualifying. Ready to get this race underway, but 2 minutes left here in qualifying. William Hewitt, Matt Schofield, and David Owens, the only 3 yet to take the racetrack, and I don't think they will take the racetrack there. So that means Jared Kelly will be the pole sitter, as these drivers that have yet to qualify will not be able to get out there in time. So that means Jared Kelly will be on the pole for today's race here from Talladega. So while qualifying just wrapping up before we advance, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here from Talladega.
The Ignition Point Racing 200 from Talladega is brought to you by Paul Ferdani. Thank you, Paul, for your support in Season 13. And get well, buddy. Season 13 of Bonfire Premier Cup Racing is proudly brought to you by Animal House Customs. Also a sponsor for Season 13, KK Woodscapes, bringing your virtual victories into reality. And finally, but not least, the Swanley Golf Association. This sponsorship is brought to you by Matt Schofield and the number 61. LeagueNewsWeekly.com. News so fresh it still has the stickers on it. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite iRacing league schedules, standings, and more.
Welcome back here to Talladega. Today we got the Bonfire Racing League race number 9 here for the Ignition Point Racing 200 as they just wrapped their qualifying. We're rolling off. Jared Kelly will be on the pole. Before we get too far into this information lap, let's hear a quick word from our command.
Good morning, everybody. Larry McReynolds here with NASCAR and Fox. You know, America's crew chief. Welcome to the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. You know the deal. All right. Drivers, start your engines. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go iRacing.
Thank you, Larry. Mack is now on to now through the middle of 1 and 2. The pace car down the back straight. We're ready to get racing, but before we get there, let's take a quick look at our starting lineup for today's race here from Talladega. Jared Kelly on the pole with a 53.919. Only 7 thousandths off that would be Darren Senior. He'll start second in the 9 machine. Starting third today will be the 31 Kevin Kyle. Jack Duvall will start 4th. Starting 5th will be Jason Landry. 6th will be Matthew Smith. Starting 7th will be Paul Ferdiani. And Ricky Vanilla will start 8th. Starting 9th will be Kyle Lonat. And Jose Medina will start 10th. Starting 11th will be Nick Mills. And starting 12th will be the 48 of Brandon Finley. Starting 13th will be the 52 of David Boyle. Joseph Bennett will start 14th. Starting 15th will be Brandon Shelton. Starting 16th will be David Brenner. 17th today will be Jake Johnson. And Timothy Darby will start 18th. Starting 19th will be Stephen Neal. And running at the top 20 will be Michael Benson. 21st will be Jake Ashe. And Todd Dunn will start 22nd. Starting 23rd will be Gerald Rose. 24th will be the 43 of Zach Clausen. Mark Dumont will start 25th, and David Owens will start 26th. Starting 27th will be William Hewitt, and 28th will be Matt Schofield. And running our 29 car field today will be Justin Marlarky. As the pace car will veer off to the left here, coming to the start-finish line here from Talladega. 200 miles, 75 laps. Jared Kelly, David Medina Sr. leader to green into the United Rentals restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're underway here from Talladega. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Jared Kelly leads the field. Kevin Kyle sitting there in second. As now the outside lane is starting to try and get a little bit of momentum here early on lap number 1. As Jared Kelly getting that good shove from Kevin Kyle down on the bottom, down the front straightaway through the tri-oval now. On the outside lane, you got Jack Duvall trying to work that outside lane. David Medina falling back a lot as he's now forward to the outside lane there. Cross line here for lap number 1. Jack Duvall getting help from that 96 from the outside lane of Matthew Smith. As both lanes starting to get together. The outside lane not able to get a big run like they hoped so far, but just slowly working together here. Should have a long way left to go in this race. 75 laps, a long time here from Talladega. We expect each other to at least make probably 2, maybe 3 pit stops depending on the fuel number. Normally the fuel number around 40 laps, so we do have a limited fuel tank as well, so these drivers will have to make that probably an extra pit stop. 2 pit stops here today. Down into turn number 3. Outside lane starting to make a little bit more moves. Will not hopped up to the outside lane, getting that shove from Jack Duvall now on the outside. Each lane kind of staying kind of staying where they are for now, mostly even. The outside lane starting to make a little bit of moves, starting to move up a little bit, but everyone's kind of staying calm right now. No one getting too aggressive to make any moves yet. Shaq's the ball. Is that spot? Kyle not falling back there. Kyle not spun down the back. Sorry, I missed that, the way to change the camera. Sorry. But down in the turn number 1, Kyle not gets hooked hard to the outside wall. Bad push through the corner. Look, did I bring in a caution? Apologies for missing that one. Just looked over to change the cameras around, and that happened as soon as you look away. That just shows you how quick something can happen here from Talladega. Kyle and I going to try and limp that back around, but that shakes up a lot of things. Now the outside lane is really falling off. As single file through the top 10 now. So it's just like that. It's single file down to the top 15. Jackson Wall signing those files back in as everyone gets single file here. No one going side by side as after that one happened. As quickly everyone slots in line. Now, unfortunately for Zach Clausen, there is a second pack. Just from that, and Justin Markey as well. I'll get down pit road as actually he does get a black flag, as well as some good speeding. Think that car slowed down with the broken tolling, as he will be done for tonight. Well, for today. Field single file here early on as 6 laps into this one this time by. Kelly leads the field. Kevin Kyle still sitting there in second. Paul Ferdiani, the top AM driver, sitting there in that 4th place position. Also today being the lead 8 of the bracket challenge. We'll try and find that bracket. See how that goes. Bracket today being Jason Landry and Nick Mills. So right now, Jason Landry and Nick Mills closest to so far is I believe 3rd and 5th right there. So those two are going to be battling for the bracket challenge. Brandon Shelton and Matt Schofield. Those two drivers as will be for a bracket matchup there, and the winners of those 2 matchups will go and face each other next week at Dover. David Eaton Sr. and Christopher Strahl, their battle. Brackets, and David Owens and Brendan Finley also having their own bracket as well, but I believe Christopher Strahl not here today. Yes, Christopher Strahl not here today, so that means David Medina will move on. David Medina moves on already to the final 4. Done. Lawson draft early. Zach Lawson now has a smaller pack. They're about 7 seconds back from the car in front of them. Next car in front of them, Matt Schofield. He's trying to catch on to the back of that. So that's Schofield at the back of the back. Gotta be a little careful, don't want to lose the draft. When a big checkup happens, back of the field could be kind of a dangerous spot, especially since Brady Shelton running up in 7. So if he wants to win his bracket matchup there, he's got a lot more to do. David Medina already moved on. As I mentioned, David Owens and Brendan Finley. Brandon Finley getting that one right now, and David Owens out of the main pack. So really safe for that battle there. But Jason Landry, I think, feels the two closest, 3rd and 5th. Is see if this will onto the kind of the back of those drivers' minds. They definitely want to win this bracket challenge. Jared Kelly still holds the lead, a single file still through the entire pack. You got a little bit of outside lane forming on the outside there. So that's how they starting to form a little bit with Jax Duvall. He was one of the drivers up top early on. He started up front and fall back after making some contact with Kyle Ladon. That wreck quickly happening in a split second. Earlier in this race. That's now he's starting to form up a little bit. He's got the 96 right behind him. Same driver as before. Matthew Schmidt pushing Jackson Ball. Another driver wanted to hop up there. 22 of David Brenner. David Brenner hops up the racetrack. Here's the outside lane. This is on the outside lane. He's starting to get a little bit of momentum, getting a little bit more cars to move up there. Driver up the track there, going out maybe a little bit early. Joseph Bennett pulling out of line, but works out for him as now the outside lane starts to move up a little bit. Kevin Kyle got cycled out of line from the front of the lane. Now he's going to fall all the way back. He's going to go all the way to the back as he stays up to the outside lane. So that moves Jason Landry. They went up onto the inside lane, up one spot. As Kevin Kyle going to drive all the way back. Slotted line there. But Joseph Bennett now leads the outside lane. He's got the 52 behind him, David Buell. Pop back in line. He'll slot in front of David Medina Sr. but off of turn number 2. Now lead on the outside lane goes to David Brenner. So he's starting to get a little bit of shove now. It's the 22. David Brenner pushing. Oh, sorry, David Brenner pushing David Buell. the racetrack. Here's Jackson Ball. He's got a lap driver there in the 131 of Todd Dunn. Now the outside lane is starting to fall back a little bit as now Medina hopped up to the outside lane. We started losing a little bit of ground. Now they're starting to pick some back up down the back straightaway. Not able to make much ground, but still up front. Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, Paul Ferdiani. Now another kind of thing that could happen today. Now, so far this season, all our races have been won by pro drivers. So we have not seen an AM driver win a race this season. They do have their own separate point standings for that. Right now, Paul Ferdiani is taking third of best AM driver. But Talladega, a lot of things could happen here from Talladega drafting. So that, a lot of drafting, a lot of incidents could happen. So today we could see our first AM win. Also, from the League News Weekly blog for this week for today's Talladega race. So these drivers are looking for their chance today. This is their chance here for Talladega. They know they can't get that win they wanted at that win they want on a mile or your normal mile and a half. It's a lot of drivers' chance to kind of pick off a win, maybe get a win here for Talladega. Get a little bit of luck going their way, especially coming into the final bit of the season. As we're getting farther, so now progressing more and more in that back half of the season. Jason Landry, though, he was able to get by Jared Kelly there, so he went to the outside. He kind of leapfrogged that 55 machine a lap ago. Lane's starting to make some more ground now. Joseph Bennett pulls this alongside Brandon Schultz on the inside there. Got a side draft, a little bit of, not a lot of push from behind of David Medina. This gap to the bottom, no one's going to take it yet. Brandon Bentley will try and fill that gap to the inside. Straight away. Outside lane slowly but surely making their way up. Kind of hard to get this outside lane going. We saw that at Echo Park Speedway a few weeks ago, or Atlanta. The outside lane really struggled to get going, but the outside lane probably going to be a little bit easier here for Talladega than it is there, because early on you get a much tighter corner. You got to manage your tires as well if you're pushing on the outside lane. You're trying to get to the outside and pin the guys on the bottom. You're really going to overheat your rear tires and you go around. But this, you don't. Here at Talladega, you don't have to worry about that too much. Outside lane trying to get something going inside so far, staying kind of the top four on the bottom, but the outside lane starting to work a little bit. Each other's going to try and get a little bit of side draft. That's I think not too aggressive on the side draft as of yet, but you see it just kind of pulling out a little bit through the corners, trying to pull that driver's back. But Brandon Schultz is going to hop over to the outside lane there, and the 20s, Nick Mills is going to do it the same. So now the outside lane is getting a lot more momentum, as now Nick Mills is going to try and get to the bumper of Paul Ferdiani. He's going to side draft that 33 back down the front straightaway, and now the outside lane with a big run, a little wiggle there for Nick Mills with the push from Brandon Shelton, but now the outside lane moving up to the lead. As now they've had a lot of momentum, but Brandon Shelton all over that back bumper there, trying to push Nick Mills as further and further to the race lead. To stay alongside Jared Kelly for now. Not Paul Ferdiani, but Jared Kelly thinks about hopping up, kind of gets out of the line just for a second, but now the inside lane really strung out after the first four cars. This is not going to help them. Now the first, now 33 of Ferdiani gets a good shove down to Jared Kelly, Jake Johnson as well down on the bottom, getting a good shove to Ferdiani, and that's what allowed the inside lane to start a little bit. Now they have the shorter distance in the corner, not getting too aggressive on the side drafting yet. If they want to try and get up there, gonna get really aggressive on the side draft, gonna get right on that corner panel. You see there before they do the same down the front straightaway. They get a good run down through the trial. They get alongside Jared Kelly down on the 1. Not going to be able to get the Jason Landry for the race lead. Let's see how hard they can side drive back to 1 and 2 here. There's a little bit of time. Nick Mills kind of not being too aggressive on the side drafting in the corners. Taking it easy, being passive right now. Just kind of taking his time. Early on in this race, so when he gets too aggressive on the side draft, ends up causing an incident. So Nick Mills just taking his time. Not too wants to get up front, but not being aggressive, not taking over aggressive moves just yet. So not much of a rush, but you did see Joseph Bennett hop back down to the bottom, so that's going to hurt the outside's firepower a little more. Down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Landry still leads. Kelly holds second. Ferdinand third. Jake Johnson still holds that 4th place spot. As out Nick Mills tries his slotted line in front of Bennett, but not going to happen. And now that he is the outside lane, going to fall back even more as Joseph Bennett actually leapfrogs back over to the high lane. Big run for Joseph Bennett. Really good run. He's going to get alongside Jared Kelly down to the 3. He doesn't have much help though from behind. Nick Mills down. Nick Mills out on the bumper of Joseph Bennett. Joseph Bennett, we'll see if they get a good run off of 4. They might be able to get close enough here. As Bennett a little closer to there through 3 and 4 to side draft Ferdiani down the front straightaway. Not a good push though for Nick Mills. They're kind of locked him on the bumpers, but just not getting that momentum they would hope. Here comes a little bit here through the trial. Now getting a shove down into turn number 1. Alongside Jared Kelly, that's as far as they got, but now they're going to stay that way. Joseph Bennett, can he get a good run with Nick Mills off of turn 2 to get side by side with Jason Landry? Yes, he will. Bennett, Mills pushing each other down the back straightaway. They're going to push clear. Shelton might clear. Bennett will hop down early. He'll hop down to the bottom and instantly clear himself with the race lead. But they say side by side lead now between Nick Mills and Joseph Bennett. Nick Mills going to keep getting shoved from Brandon Shelton. They're going to cycle all the way to the front. Medina tries to follow through. Medina going to shut the door on the bottom, and he will. Top 4 now. New racing on the bottom as Landry gets cycled back to 5th on the inside lane. It's now the outside lane goes to David Well and the 22 of David Brenner. As those two now leave the outside lane, as now we only have 4 cars on the outside, as everyone on the outside pretty much cycled to the front and got down to the bottom. And now Bruel and Brenner are going to have to regather some momentum down the back straightaway now. See what they can do, but 25 laps into this, we're 1/3 of the way through. Expected to have these drivers will need a 2-stop race, so these drivers can pit now, and it's going to split it early, and we'll see if anyone, maybe some teammates, pit a little bit earlier, maybe 3 or 4 drivers in the pack. If those drivers pit together, they can maybe jump the field, leapfrog the field on pit road. Out of the outside lane, everyone singles files back in here, 1/3 of the way through this one. That spot, Brandon Shelton in 2nd, Dave Medina sitting there in 3rd, Joseph Bennett in 4th, as those 4 just cycled to the front a few laps ago with a really good run on the outside. Jason Landry, our previous inside leader, he now sits 5th on the inside. No rush to get back up there, up to that race lead. Now he can kind of save a little bit of fuel on the inside lane. So not really a big problem. So these drivers can easily make it on a 2-stop strategy. Stop should be coming relatively soon. They probably have about 80% fuel tank, so that means they can go about 30 to 33 laps. It also really depends on a lot as well. If you're sitting in the pack, just kind of lifting, you can easily stretch it on a full tank. You can go from about 38 to 40, so any windows, about 38 to 42 laps, depending on when you're running in the pack. And here they come. As soon as I mentioned it, here comes everyone down pit road. Has to stay out of the racetrack. Nick Mills will lead them down pit road with a lot of the drivers coming down pit road. As Nick Mills, David Brenner, David Will. Okay, so David Brenner, David Will, Matthew Smith, Gerald Rose, Michael Benton, James Wall, Jackson Wall will stay out of the racetrack. So the top 6 down to the racetrack. Everyone else down pit road. As we'll see what these drivers do on pit road. Probably to take fuel only. Maybe take 2 tires. 2 tires will probably be faster. No one will take 4 tires. As you see, they only take 2 left side tires for a lot of these drivers out in pit road right now. See the race off pit road there. As Nick Mills will come out first. As everyone cycles out of pit road there. Dave Brenner. Now the rest of the field, the top 6. Let's see, will they come down pit road? Yes, they will. The rest of the lead lap field comes down pit road here. A little bit smaller pack. We'll see if they can gain a little bit of time. Don't think they're really going to gain too much. The top 6 coming out pit road. A few drivers just got to put a lap down. They're going to stay out for the wave around. So you give back a lead lap, hope for a caution. But the rest of the 6 coming out pit road. David Brenner, big breaking news there for David Brenner. Speeding on pit road for David Brenner. He's going to have to sit in pit road a lot longer as he takes his service. David Brenner, big mistake on pit road, not what you want to do. But Nick Mills off of turn 4 is a big shakeup in the pack as the big pack splits in about two packs of 4. Nick Mills, Matthew Smith, Jack Subal, I'm mixed up a little bit, but Nick Mills, Brandon Shelton, David Medina, Jason Landry, top 4, and they jump the rest of the field. As there they go by Jack Subal. David Buell leads the field, and there's the leader there of David Buell. This top 4, new top 4, they're gonna jump pretty much the entire field. As they're gonna have these packs are gonna try and have to merge, try to work together to catch this top 4. But this top 4 pulled away, and they have broken away from the field. Really good pit stop for these top 4 drivers. And that shows you track conditions matter a lot on pit road. Michael Benson, another driver, also with the penalty. Big penalty there from Michael Benson. So he'll have to come down and serve that as well. But Nick Mills, top 4, single file now. Jared Kelly, the rest of the pack, 1.8 seconds. They're just out of drafting range. You need to push a little bit better. Keep an eye on this pack here. About 2 seconds. Try to get that up. Get up for you just a second. Let's see how these 2 drivers compare. So that's Jason Lynch at the tail end of that lead pack, and Jared Kelly, the lead of this main pack right now, of the second pack. That's about 1.9 seconds. Jared Kelly last time by 0.04 of a second slower. As you'll see the first lap there is the out lap for Jason Landry. So now 0.04 of a second slower for Jared Kelly last time by. As you do have a third pack a little bit farther back, so we'll take a look at that pack compared to Jason Landry, about 4.9 seconds. You see kind of that second pack there. So this is the second pack to the smaller 4-car third pack. As they have been gaining on Jackson Falls, about 2 seconds is the gap. Last time by, they were 0.2 faster. You see the last 2 laps before that, they were coming off pit road, cycling back out. We'll see this time by Jackson Wall versus Kevin Kyle. This is that second and third pack. They can get close the gap on each other. They might be able to have something for that top pack, that lead pack. Right now, Kevin Kyle about 2.5 tenths faster than Jackson Wall, so that'll allow that second pack falling back a little bit. Actually, it's really a little closer to Joseph Bennett. Now it's cycling to the back of that second pack, so a little closer, about 2 seconds. So about even gap between the first pack and the second pack, and about the second pack and the third pack. But now good news for pack number 2 here, with led by Jared Kelly. They have a lap car between them and the lead lap pack, main pack, and that will be David Brenner. That's going to help the second pack here. They're going to be able to attack a little bit of draft from David Brenner. That might be able to bridge the gap a little bit. We'll see. Gap's about 1.8 seconds, so but David Brenner might be able to hop on. As you see, David Brenner, he was running up front, but a crucial speeding penalty on pit road. So that's going to hurt David Brenner. We'll see. Actually, he's going to tag along to this main pack. So that means David Brenner is going to make this front pack a little stronger. This gap's about 1.7. That's that second pack now. 2.6 seconds back from Joseph Bennett. You see kind of the gap on track there. They're Kevin Kyle and Jake Johnson, Jake Ashe, and Stephen Neal losing time. There is a smaller third pack. There's a fourth pack. So this is the fourth pack. They've been kind of shuffled out to the back from very early on with that Kyle Lynott wreck from earlier, about the first 5 laps. It's not a caution. These drivers 12 seconds back from the pack in front of them. That's losing a lot of time as well. And currently David Brenner able to get up into this lead pack. That's going to help him big time because he is the first driver 1 lap down. And if no other lead lap car can tag along to this main pack, that's going to help him. He should be able to get the easily free pass if there was a caution. So top 4 sitting there, but now here comes the second pack. Jared Kelly down to 1.1 seconds. As they're going to almost break into that draft range. You need to get kind of just under a second, maybe about 8/10, and I think they're going to do it. 1 second now for Jared Kelly to Nick Mills. And they're in drafting range there. They have got a draft of David Brenner, and now the 2 packs merge. Not what this first pack wanted, but still very early on. Probably knew it was going to happen at some point. But there's the packs. The packs merge. Now this is when a lot of wrecks start to happen. You normally see it as they get the run. They're going to take it to the outside lane. So here comes Jared Kelly to the outside. He's got help from the 30P and Paul Ferdiani. Ferdiani a little farther back, and everyone else stays to the bottom. So that's going to only shuffle those 2 up to the top lane. As now they have a pack of lap cars they are now catching. And this is Mark Dumont. This is not Mark Dumont. Smaller pack here. A mix of lap cars. That's Michael Benton. So this is a smaller pack of lap cars here. It's back and forth. Michael Benton, Timothy Darby, and the 43 Zach Lawson. So Zach Lawson 2 laps out in the middle between Timothy Darby and Michael Benton, which are on the same lap battling for position. And they had one other driver as they fallen all the way to the back. Now, actually, not just yet, but that's Todd Dunn as well. So Timothy Darby, Todd Dunn, Zach Clausen, and Michael Benton in that 4-car pack is now Brandon Schultz and Dave Padilla. They're going to round the outside, round these lap cars. That might slow down a little bit. They side draft a little bit. But the second pack not going well anymore. Jake Ashe falling farther back as Kevin Kyle got cycled to 3rd of that pack. But this pack of 4 now 7.3 seconds back. Really starting to struggle now as they are losing a lot of time. Brandon Shelton now new race leader, as now everyone tries to navigate to lap cars. They're going to try and clear the lap cars to slot down in front. We'll see how many stay up on the racetrack. So everyone else staying up on the racetrack right now, staying up to the top, except for Brandon Shelton and David Padilla Sr. As out the outside lane. Now that's the man in the outside lane is Michael Benson and Zach Lawson, able to stay in the main pack. So that's gonna work out for those drivers. They just go 1 lap down there. now they're gonna have to battle David Brenner for that spot. Everyone cycles down to the bottom. So everyone shuffles down to the bottom a little bit here. But now our main pack, now a big pack of cars, and mix of lap cars and lead lap cars. So you have 11 lead lap cars in this main pack, and the rest are lap cars. Lap cars being Michael Benson, Mark Dumont also in that pack as well. So Michael Benson, Mark Dumont, Timothy Darby, David Brenner. Actually, David Brenner fall back to the second pack. Todd Dunn, Zach Lawson, Timothy Darby, Mark Dumont, Michael Benson. The five lap cars in this main pack, and the rest of them being your 11 lead lap cars, as you see on the left side of the screen on our timing tower. But good news for the second pack, when they're side by side there for a little bit, they got the gap down to about 6.5 seconds, led by Jay Cachet. And Stephen Neal sitting there at 13th, right behind him. The top 11 right now. Leads the field as we now hit lap number 41. Just past halfway here. See, so far we have been green the whole way. Lead pack last pitting around lap 27. So we'll go about the same gap there. We'll see the field pit around lap 55-ish. So we'll see if this front pack is just kind of shuffled out again. And it's strung out a little bit. As it is strung out a little bit right now. We'll see if they kind of have two separate packs after the final pit stops. So far, lead pack led by Jason Landry, single file, everyone kind of being calm right now. Everyone kind of just staying calm, taking their time. No too aggressive moves just yet. That aggression will start to ramp up as we get further and further into this race. So we'll see, definitely after that final pit stop, it'll definitely kind of just be a dash to the finish. They'll probably expect these drivers to pit around lap 54, 55. And if they split up, that'll definitely be big there as well. Jason Landry, Nick Mills, first and second, leading the field right now, single file through the field. They probably expect about 10 more laps until the rest of these drivers pit. They'll probably go about a 20-lap dash to the finish. You have to see a caution. We have to see this. You do have a third driver there. Jared Kelly blinks out for a second. Now he blinks back into P3 there. Everybody just taking their time. No one making any aggressive moves right now. Single file is this second pack getting a lot bigger now. It's now led by Matthew Smith. Jake O'Shea cycled to the back of this pack. Jason Landry still holds the race lead for now. This time by will complete lap number 45 and we'll go to 30 laps to go. As Landry still leads the field. With 30 laps to go here from Talladega, we're going to take this one. We're going to do a little accelerator, crank it up here from Talladega. Welcome back from our Crank It Up segment here for Talladega. So we now reach 25 laps to go. Everything stays the same still. No one made any moves just yet. Still single file so far here from Talladega. 25 laps into this one. That's 25 laps to go here, so we'll start to see pit stops here in the final 4 laps of this race. Next 5 or so laps here. The final will be the final stops. As soon as I mention them, kind of like last time, everyone comes down pit road here. It's about half the field comes down, kind of about the same pack. But here through down pit road now, Nick Mills, Jason Landry. Next up pit road, everyone clean so far on pit road. David Wells, Brandon Shelton, and David Medina stand on pit road. So all but 3 lead lap drivers come down pit road there. Oh, David Ferniani messing up a little bit, overshooting his stall. As Brandon Finley going to come off of pit road now. We'll see if he gets out first. There goes everyone off of pit road. Now back up to the pack, the lead pack. We'll see if these drivers can maybe jump the field. It's David Buell, Brady Shelton, David Medina. They'll come down pit road. So you have Michael Benton sitting with him. So Michael Benton a lap down, going to try and stay out, hook for a caution. Jake O'Shea and Kevin Kyle come down for the second pack. Kevin Kyle, though, speeding on pit road. The second pack comes down pit road, and Kevin Kyle, big mistake, and that's just going to get even worse. He's already out of the main pack, and now he's got a pit road penalty, and that will not help him at all. But Jax Duvall actually jumps in front of Brandon Finley. But Brandon Finley, Jax Duvall, they jump in front of Jason Landry. So now they're going to try and jump the rest of the field as David Buell coming off pit road here on the apron here in 1 and 2 now. David Buell holds that spot. Off of the corner, he stays in second with Brandon Shelton. Big pit stop there for David Buell and Brandon Shelton. They're actually, those two are going to stay out in front, but they lost all their help. They lost the help from one driver. Now, if they had maybe a couple more, this would have been a great pit stop, but they're not going to be able to hold on with 2 drivers. As here comes Jax Law and the rest of the main pack, head full of steam now, off of turn 4, about a second and a half, and gap closing quickly for that lead pack. But we'll see how well they can hold up. Brandon Finley's going to actually jump over to the outside. He's going to jump around Jax Duvall. Jason Landry going to follow him as well. They're going to try and jump past Jax Duvall here. Well, Brady Shelton hold on to the top 2 for now. The rest of the pack coming off turn 2 now. So far through 1, 3, and 4, but Brandon Shelton hops to the bottom of David Buell, and now the rest of the field is here. Brandon Finley is hopped behind Brandon Shelton. David Buell up on the top lane, all by himself. The closest help, Jax Duvall, all the way to the back of the pack. They just got cycled out. A little check out from the middle, kind of the tail of the pack, a little shuffle. Kevin Kyle going a lap down. He'll hop in front of Jax Duvall. Behind him, Buell. We'll see if he gets the outside lane rolling a little bit. But Brandon Shelton, Brandon Finley holds the lead as we still have the pack of. So now have only a pack of 10. So they did lose 1 driver out of the lead pack there through that pit cycle. But Nick Mills moves to the bottom in front of Jason Landry, and now Landry able to shut the door there. Just before that happened, but this time now we reached 20 laps to go, and everyone back to single file. Here, try to take these laps off closer and closer to the finish. just like that, Brandon Finley kind of gets left out the dry. Brandon Finley and everyone else goes around Brandon Shelton. As Brandon Shelton gets shuffled out, left out to dry on the bottom. Still fall to the back, but Finley, Landry, and Mills will hop to the bottom, and everyone else just follows on through its thoughts behind. But off of turn number 4, seeing that aggression start to ramp up, more drivers starting to make some moves. Now they go back to the bottom. Single file once again on the inside lane. Let's see where 19 to go. We have still yet to see a caution. So that can shake up a lot of things. They'll bring the second pack back into the play. As out of that second pack, only Jake Ashe and Matthew Smith. Brandon Finley holds the race lead. Jason Landry sitting in second. Landry to hop down on the bottom. Still with 18 laps to go here. Brandon Finley holds the lead. Brandon Finley, as I mentioned earlier, the AM drivers they have yet to win a race this season. It's all been pro drivers to take that, to win these races. Brandon Finley leading, he'll cycle back to third as he just gets shuffled out there, looking to be the first AM driver to win a race. Now the outside lane is starting to move a little bit up, a little bit side by side between Brandon Finley and Brandon Shelton. But so far, the inside lane is staying in control. Nick Mills, Brandon Finley lead the inside. Joseph Bennett holds the inside there as well. The outside lane not making too much ground just yet. South lane is starting to make a little bit now as Brandon Shelton alongside Brandon Finley, and we have our first caution of the day. Caution is out. There was 16 laps to go. Trying to find out who that was. No, I don't see anyone losing any spots there. Maybe Stephen Neal. Let's take a look. Oh, Stephen Neal. Not sure what the yellow was for. Was it in the main pack? Don't believe it was in the second pack either. I didn't see anyone lose any spots on my timing screen. Oh, so a car stopped on the apron here. That's Michael Dumont. Mark Dumont? No, that was not. Matthew Smith. So a car stopped on the apron. I wonder who it was. It's Matthew Smith. Matthew Smith on the apron. Slow. And this triggered the caution. I'm surprised that triggered the caution when the second pack went by. He was on the apron. So, like, whatever happened? Did he run out of gas? I think he did. Yeah, so Matthew Smith. I think he just ran out of fuel. Oh, he blew up. Just pushing Jake Ashe, and he blows up the engine. And he tried to limp it all the way back around to pit road. and that brought out the caution. So now that shakes up a lot of things. So now that is going to put all the packs back together. So now we're going to have a big pack, about 20. Valley for the win. But most of these drivers staying on the racetrack for now here, but with 15 to go. Everyone stay out on the racetrack as we'll under caution here for Talladega. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Ignition Point Racing 200 from Talladega is brought to you by Paul Ferdani. Thank you, Paul, for your support in Season 13. And get well, buddy. Season 13 of Bonfire Premier Cup Racing is proudly brought to you by Animal House Customs. Also a sponsor for Season 13, KK Woodscapes, bringing your virtual victories into reality. And finally, but not least, the Swanley Golf Association. This sponsorship is brought to you by Matt Schofield and the number 61. LeagueNewsWeekly.com. News so fresh it still has the stickers on it. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite iRacing league schedules, standings, and more.
Welcome back here to Talladega as we just have our first caution of the day as we're now going to get into this final stage of today's Ignition Point Racing 200. As right now, Jason Landry, Nick Mills, they lead the field. Landry on the outside, but this caution shook up a lot of things. We only had 10 drivers in the main pack. Now we have the entire field back together. As I mentioned earlier, this is their chance for a lot of these drivers to get their win they want, and also a few other shakeups as well with the bracket. As now everyone back in the lead pack, as we'll see a lot of shakeups happen with everything. As we'll see with 12 laps to go, the aggression's going to ramp up. pace car is off. Green flag back in the air. 12 to go here from Talladega. Jason Landry leads the field. He's got Brandon Finley behind him. Nick Mills and Brandon Shelton. Top four. Single file on the inside lane. The outside lane not very organized just yet. But here comes the outside. Brandon Shelton, Nick Mills. They kind of hop up. Nick Mills thinks about it, but he hops back down. He's got the 5 behind him. The 9 behind him, sorry, of David Medias here pushing Brandon Shelton now on the outside lane. They try to work together, starting to make a little bit of ground on the outside lane. Nick Mills going to now hop up to the outside lane, but he hops back to the bottom. O'Shea's going to hop up. Mills going to hop up as well, as it's kind of just cat and mouse between a lot of these drivers. But now the outside lane comes up to the outside lane, starts to move up. They get alongside Jason Lane to race lead. Nick Mills. Now Jake O'Shea leads the outside lane as Mills goes down to the bottom to clear. Shelton holds second in the outside lane. O'Shea still leads the outside. Medina holds third. As now they're starting to fall back a little bit. The outside lane is starting to get separated as the top 3 separated from the rest of the outside lane. A little bit shuffled to the back. Kevin Kyle and Michael Benson getting shuffled out a little bit. But the inside lane really running a lot higher on the bottom of the racetrack. Now through 3 and 4, the inside lane taking their time. Shane now moving up. That's a good shove for Brandon Shelton. Trying hard as they can go to get this outside lane running. It's just so hard to get outside lane running and get very aggressive. This is when you have to get very aggressive with your side drafts. If you're not aggressive with the side drafts, you're not going to go anywhere in this outside lane, especially here with 10 to go. Everyone pushing and shoving, no one giving each other anything. It's when everything gets aggressive. No gives will be taken. Here with 10 to go. Everyone's fighting, trying to move up, trying to get the track position, trying to get that race win. The top 4 now clear. Matt Schofield. He moves up to 4th now. He was in that second pack, 3rd pack early in this race, and now he's moved up to the lead pack. He's in now the top 5. He's clear of the top lane. He sticks to the bottom for now. O'Shea leads the outside lane, but falling farther back, even farther back. As Brandon Shelton not able to push well enough, as they're all kind of shuffling out a little bit. As now Shelton tries to go to the middle and maybe leave O'Shea out. I think Shelton's starting to get a little hot. Attempts starting to get hot. Oh, and he's going to get a little sideways with O'Shea. That's going to check him up on the outside lane even more. I think Shelton's starting to run a little bit hot, and now he can't push much more or he'll blow the engine and he'll be done. We saw that happen. That's what the caution came out. The driver running the race was trying to lift it back around, but it was ended up being a caution, stopped in the apron. Now with 8 laps to go, this time by. Schofield thinks about hopping up. He'll stay to the bottom for now. I think these top 4, they're going to stay to the bottom until the outside lane starts to show any forms of improvement on the outside lane. But otherwise, this top 4 or 5 are going to stay on the bottom. They're going to take their time. They're going to wait and make their own moves. But now Brandon Shelton to the middle with Jack Duvall and Jake O'Shea. As O'Shea getting left out to dry. But Denier lets it back in line as Ferdy Andy tries to hop up as well. But that really shakes up a lot of things. Because now Duvall hops up for the bottom. But the outside lane really falling back. As the outside lane really separated. We're not in the top 6 or 7 all single file on the inside lane. Outside lane starting to make some ground up now. Duvall getting shoved from Brandon Shelton. Nick Mills, Jason Landry lead the field on the inside. Brandon Finley, Matt Schofield. Now it's Jared Kelly, and now side by side with Jack Duvall. The outside lane moves up side by side with that 5th place spot with 7 laps to go. Outside lane desperately tried to get rolling. They get alongside Schofield. Off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. They get side by side with Brandon Finley. They're going to be an even bigger shove for Brandon Shelton and Jack Duvall. They're going to get alongside Jason Landry to 3. Can they hold that? You got a side draft. Jackson Ball getting all the way out of the bottom as close as he can to Jason Landry. That's how you had to do it. On the outside lane, they side draft hard, and they're going to be able to do it. Nick Mills, he's going to hop up in front of Jax Duvall. Duvall's going to leave out the dry. That's going to shake up the outside lane, and Shelton just shoves the middle to the middle, 3 wide. Shelton, can he clear the outside lane? O'Shea's going to go to the middle as well. 3 wide up front. Shelton's going to get a turn. He's going to go around, and that's going to be the big one. And Jax Duvall on top of the 14. And that is the big one here at Talladega. Duvall goes on top of a car. And he rises to top of the 14 there through 14 of Mark Dumont. Through 1 and 2. Mark Dumont does not look that much damage. He was a lap down, and that's not going to give him his lap back. That started all up here with Brandon Shelton. Let's take a look at what happened. Brandon Shelton moves to the middle 3 wide. Started all the way up front. Jake O'Shea moves to the middle with Brandon Shelton. Jackson Ball came down a little bit, and Brandon Shelton gets turned. Next back to Schofield. O'Shea gets involved. Morgan involved. So there is just trying to get a list of kind of who's in the wreck there. Saw Timothy Darby involved, Zach Clausen, Jack Duvall. Taking a look at that one. So more kind of towards the middle of that pack got involved there as well. So the wreck happens up front, but you kind of see it to the middle of this pack. See some more start to pile in. The 22 goes around, hard hit there for that 22 of David Brenner. So David Brenner got in that one. 33-30, Andy O'Leave got a piece of that as well. A few others, but the biggest wreck there, Jax Duvall going over the 14 of Mark Dumont. Let's go on board. Let's go on board for that wreck with Jax Duvall. So he leaves the field. He's got Brandon Shelton shuts the door in front of him. Comes down a little bit, ends up getting into Brandon Shelton and sends him around, and he gets hopped up on top of Mark Dumont. A wild ride here for Jax Duvall. He is no doubt probably destroyed from that one. See will be done as you see that right front completely destroyed, but that takes out a lot of drivers for this one, and that is going to shake up our bracket and the points. It's kind of the bracket challenge I mentioned it earlier, but that through the cautions shakes up a lot of things. So Jason Landry and Nick Mills, one of the matchups there are the top 2. So those 2 are fighting for the bracket challenge. Brandon Shelton and Matt Schofield, and after that wreck, I believe Brandon Shelton, he's not done. He's still sitting behind Kevin Kyles. You just see him to the back of the picture. So you'll see right there, Brandon Shelton. He's battling Matt Schofield, but Matt Schofield clean up front. He's in a much better position right now. David Medina already moving on to Christopher Small, not here today. And David Owens and Brandon Finley, the other 2 battling for that. Brandon Finley, okay, sitting there in 3rd, but David Owens sitting in 9th right now. Just fine as well. So the bracket challenges, the bracket matchups stay clean for now. David Medina already moving on, so we really only have 3 matchups. One of them being our top 2 between Nick Mills and Jason Landry. We'll see how this goes. We'll restart here with 2 laps to go. This will be an in regulation green-white checkered, so they have another attempt at it. As I mentioned through those bracket challenges, let's take a look at our points. Jason Landry, our pro points leader, 45 points over David Medina Sr. And Brandon Shelton in 3rd. So he had a really big points advantage for Jason Landry. And right now he's looking clean and able to stay up front right now. Looking good for that one. Michael Sarra leading the AM standings as Michael Sarra not here tonight. Stephen Neal is here tonight, 15 points out. Steve Dale running in 10th. He might be able to take that AM points lead. as Ricky Mandela, also not here tonight as Ricky Mandela. Not so far. Not in the top 15. He's here tonight. And Jose Medina in fourth, 56 points out, but Stephen Neal looking to try and take that damn points lead before we end today here at Talladega. Looking to try to take that points lead. We're going to re-rack them here. Going to be a green, white, checkered finish. So in regulation, so they have another attempt at, a few other attempts at it. But all they got to do is get to the white flag, and that will be it. If they get to the tribal and they get the white flag is raised here in iRacing, that will be enough for the white flag. So they get to about halfway through the tribal, and that will be it. So they'll make it to they'll go to the finish. So between Nick Mills, Jason Landry, as Nick Mills likes to take the high outside lane for this restart. Jason Landry will be second, Matt Schofield be fourth, and Brandon Finley will be third, as the outside lane going to be a little bit better here. So you're going to have that control car on the outside lane, but we'll see how well this outside lane can get formed. This is when you cannot make mistakes, you cannot lift, you cannot give anything if you want to win this race. You'll see that this aggression is going to ramp up. Everyone is going to be fighting for everything. No one's going to be cutting anyone breaks. Here with 2 to go. This is the race for the win. As I mentioned earlier, all pro drivers to take wins this season. They're AM drivers looking for their first win of the season. Matt Schofield and Brandon Finley, the best 2 AM drivers so far. But Jason Landry on the inside lane, Nick Mills on the outside. The control car for Nick Mills is a little farther ahead through the restart zone. But coming to the United Mills restart zone, green flags in the air, 2 laps to go. Mills quickly hops out in front of Jason Landry, and that's going to give the inside lane advantage early on here. Nick Mills, Landry leads the inside. Brandon Finley on the bottom. He'll clear the outside of Matt Schofield. Matt Schofield, not a good run at all on the outside lane. The inside lane, much bigger runs. David Buell, he's going to hop up to the outside lane in front of Matt Schofield. They're going to get that run out, moving on the outside lane. Jared Kelly tries to move up as well. Brandon Finley thinking about it for that third place spot. Down into turn number 3. The outside lane is starting to fall a little bit. David Owens, he moves up, hops up to the top lane in front of Kevin Kyle. Kevin Kyle moving up. He got back on the lead lap. He was lapped out earlier. Nick Mills hops to the outside lane. Is now 3 wide for the lead now. Nick Mills still to the bottom. Brandon Finley to the middle. David Owens, the bracket challenge. That's a bracket matchup there. David Owens and Brandon Finley side by side for second. Nick Mills takes the white flag. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. They're 3 wide of the main pack. Brandon Finley up the racetrack. He's got Brandon Shelton behind him. They're crashing behind. David Owens in second. Jason Landry in third. Jared Kelly in fourth. The outside lane, no momentum for now as Brandon Finley leads that outside lane. The top 4, single file. Now top 5 as Matt Schofield gets clear. But Nick Mills holds the lead. David Owens in second. Jason Landry third as Nick Mills blinks out there for a second through 3 and 4. But off of turn 4, the dash to the line, the sprint to the line. Who will take the win? Jared Kelly goes around on 4. More cars go around. Matt Schofield. Here comes David Owens. He has to the outside, side by side with Nick Mills coming to the line. Jason Landry, is he going to have enough to the line? No, he won't, but side by side to the line. It's going to be David Owens by 14 thousandths of a second. He will take the win. David Owens will take the win here at Talladega. A perfectly timed move for David Owens. Got around the outside of Nick Mills. It takes the win away 14 thousandths of a second. He's going to burn it down here on the front stretch. Right on the front stretch. David Owens. Great win for that 8 machine. Once again, a pro driver taking the win, but also able to drive by Brandon Finley in that final green, white, checkered. He will take that bracket spot over Brandon Finley. So David Owens will move on to the Final Four next week at Dover. Dave Medina, he'll face Dave Medina. Matt Schofield went around off turn 4. Don't know where that one cycled out. Brandon Shelton gets a top 5. He will move on to the Final Four. He will face Jason Landry, Nick Mills. He'll face Nick Mills next week at Dover. So Jason Landry goes down to Nick Mills. After that finish there for second, half a tenth separated those two drivers. So Landry, Nick Mills, Brandon Shelton, Dave Medina, and David Owens will be your Final Four for the bracket challenge next week. But David Owens, our race winner, he burns it down and blows up the engine as he will win and he celebrates. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with our top two interviews and our best AM driver when we come back.
The Ignition Point Racing 200 from Talladega is brought to you by Paul Furudani. Thank you, Paul, for your support in Season 13. And get well, buddy. Season 13 of Bonfire Premier Cup Racing is proudly brought to you by Animal House Customs. Also a sponsor for Season 13, KK Woodscapes, bringing your virtual victories into reality. And finally, but not least, the Swanley Golf Association. This sponsorship is brought to you by Matt Schofield and the number 61. LeagueNewsWeekly.com. News so fresh it still has the stickers on it. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite iRacing league schedules, standings, and more.
Welcome back here to Talladega as we just wrapped up the Ignition Point Racing 200. Before we get to our interviews, let's take a quick look at our results for today's race. As you just saw, David Owens take the race win by 14 thousandths of a second over Nick Mills. Jason Landry picking up third, Kevin Kyle in fourth, Brandon Shelton rounds to the top five, Joseph Bennett finishing sixth, Paul Ferdiani will finish seventh tonight, David Videa will finish eighth, Brandon Finley will finish ninth, Jake Ashe will finish 10th. Finishing 11th will be Stephen Neal. Ricky Mandela will finish 12th. Michael Benson will finish 13th. 14th, Jared Kelly. Jake Johnson finishing 19th. 15th. Matt Schofield finishing 16th. David Bell finishing 17th. David Brenner finishing 18th. Todd Dunn 19th. Mark Dumont finishing 20th. Finishing 21st tonight. Today, Jax Duval. Jared Rose 22nd. Timothy Darby in 23rd. 24th, Zach Clausen, Matthew Smith in 25th, Justin Malarkey in 26th, Jose Medina in 27th, Kyle Lanat in 28th, and 29th will be Roland Hewitt. And that was a great finish and a great race that was here from Talladega. But taking the race win was David Owens by 14 thousandths of a second. How are you able to get it done?
Patience and side draft. That was what it was. Nick and I both are great super speedway drivers, and racing with him in the past, I knew there was going to be a block, so it was just try to stay on his bumper and pull out at the last possible second.
Yeah, and also with that move, you drove. You were kind of a little bit farther back in that green-white checker there, but just kind of talk us through how you're able to move your way up quickly, but also doing that, you're also able to get Brandon Finley there, so you're able to take that bracket matchup and get also take the race win away there. So just how are you able to move your way up here through that final green-white checker?
So I was working with David Buell, and we knew the inside line was going to get the good run on the restart. So I told Buell, look, I'm going to push you. When we get clear, we'll move up and see what we can do. And he moved up a little early, and I wasn't able to clear yet. So down the backstretch, I was getting a great push from Kevin Kyle. He's great at pushing. And going into turn 3, I waited and pulled out last minute. Gave the side draft to Jared and was able to pull them off. And my goal was just to try to get Finley off as well. And when he made that move to the outside, I was going to go 3 wide. And I didn't want to wreck us, so I jumped back to the middle and just gave Nick a shove, and I cleared myself off Landry. And I was content running second. My goal was to just at least beat Finley. And circumstances happened with a miracle of them wrecking behind us and pulled Landry off and allowed me to actually make the move on Nick and make the move for the win.
And a perfectly timed move, able to just get you the win by 14 thousandths of a second. But before we send you off on your way, any sponsor to thank for today's race win?
I want to thank David Buell, Kevin Kyle right there at the end working together with me. A big shout out to Ricky Mandela with Animal House Customs for all the things he does for the league and for us individually, and for just sticking to me early in that race because we just rode together 90% of that race because of that early wreck with Kyle Lanat separating us out. Then shout out to my teammates with Gulf Coast Racing, myself, Kyle Lanat, David Brenner, just working all together, and just overall great league here. So big shout out to all of them and you guys up here in the booth.
And once again, congrats on your race win. We'll see you next week at Dover.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So that was our race winner of David Owens. We'll bring in our second place finisher here of Nick Mills. Nick Mills battling up front all day long, and you're battling with Jason Landry for that bracket spot there right at the finish, but you're still able to get over Jason Landry. So now you get to go into the Final Four next week at Dover. How's it feel?
Heartbreaker. I got to thank Jason and the rest of the teammates, Jared Kelly, Paul Ferdiani, Joseph Bennett was in there with us today, and then Brandon Finley as well. Controlled the race pretty well, and we just let Owens get in there, take it from us at the end. He made a good move and timed it right. I mean, coming through 3 and 4, I was trying to keep him on my bumper to where he couldn't get a gap, and he was still able to pull out on me. And he just hit me with the side draft, couldn't stop it.
Yeah, he's able to time that perfectly there, but what do you think you could get differently there? Maybe work a little bit with your teammates, and what do you think you guys could have done differently there to maybe hold off David Owens there right at the finish?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of about what happens behind you. I know they stacked up coming through 3 and 4 where we were playing cat and mouse up front. So I hate to see Jared get caught up in that. But it kind of is what it is. As far as trying to hold the car off, the side draft is so important that they don't have to clear you. They just got to beat you to the line, and that's what happened.
Yeah, you were able to get that solid second place finish, even though you just got sniped it right at the line, but you're still able to get a very solid second place run and a good points run for you today. But before we stand up for the any spots to think for today's second place finish?
I had Dennis on the hood today, so we want to thank the Puckett family for everything that they did to build the league, and just our condolences still go out to his family. We miss having him on Sunday mornings, so it's just nice to see the league carrying on. And then, like I said, thanks again to the teammates. Jason worked with me a lot. Jason's looking at the big picture. He's not as focused on the in-season bracket, so he cut me a few breaks and gave me a little room there all race. So he's focused on the season championship, and I'm going to try to go out and win the tournament.
Yeah, but you're able to still pick up a very solid second place finish. So once again, congrats on that run, and we'll see you next week at Dover.
All right, thanks.
So that was our second place finisher of Nick Mills, and our best AM driver of Joseph Bennett, not in the Discord, so we'll see if Paul Ferdiani is available. No, he is not either. So we don't really don't have our next best AM driver in there, so we'll bring in while we have the chance, we'll bring in our third place finisher of Jason Landry. Jason Landry, our best third place finisher tonight. You're right behind those two side by side for the win. What do you think you could have done differently to get that trying to get that race win there?
I mean, this is a surprise. I got pulled up. I was in the middle of a chat with somebody else. Honestly, Owens played that perfectly. I don't think there's anything I could have done. I was working with Nick, trying to push him along, but he got in between us, split us up, and then he pulled out. I'm really impressed with Owens. That was a perfect play at the end.
Yeah, and you just sitting there at third, and tonight, another good race, and you're able to extend your points lead here a little bit more. So, kind of coming into the final half of this season, and you're able to extend your points lead even more. So, how's it feeling? Just kind of build that confidence, and how you got to manage that through the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at this season. With the points change, I always thought that just got to be super consistent. Last season, I made too many aggressive moves, and it cost me with a bunch of wrecks. So honestly, I'm just trying to stay safe and work with my team as well as possible for all of us to get a good result. And yeah, these super speedways, my teammates are super good at these. I'm nowhere near them, so I just listen to their advice. So I gotta thank Jared, Paul, Nick. They've been doing it. Joe was here today. So yeah, I really relied on them a lot just to stay safe. And then the race is coming up. I feel I can be quite strong at with Dover, Iowa, Richmond, another road course at Watkins. So it's looking good at the moment. I don't want to jinx myself, but like the super speedways is the place where I was most afraid, and so far Atlanta and Talladega have gone well. So I'm quite happy with the situation, how it's going right now.
You're still able to give a very solid third place run, but before we send off on to make any sponsor link for tonight's third place run.
Just happy with the Ignition Point Racing. This was our sponsored race. So yeah, just thank you to the team, and thank you for the broadcast, and thanks for Kevin for doing a good job as an admin right now. So yeah,
Once again, congrats on your third place run. We'll see you next week at Dover.
thank you, sir. Have a good one.
So it's our third place finisher of Jason Landry, and now Joseph Bennett has made it to the Discord. So Joseph Bennett, our best AM driver today, able to get a solid 6th place run. So how's it feel able to get that AM win tonight?
Oh man, it's fun. I haven't been able to make many races because my schedule changes every week. Sometimes I have to work on Sunday, but I've been wanting to race with these guys for a little bit, and I'm on vacation this week, so I was like, you know what, let me get in here and try to help these guys out and see what we can do.
Yeah, I noticed throughout the night, you're able to try and get that outside lane moving. You're one of those first few drivers to kind of get that outside lane moving, kind of around the pack, kind of shuffling your way through tonight. Just kind of how tough was it to try to get that get those moves working on the outside, and just how tough was it trying to just work your way through the field today?
Oh, it's tough, man. These guys are definitely pretty good. I just tried to pick and choose my battles, and see who's gonna push with who. I tried to link up with a couple of my teammates, Paul and Jason and Jared and them and Nick. We all tried to get together and just keep each other in the battle. We just wanted to survive.
Yeah, and you're still able to get the AM win tonight. This once again a very solid 6th place finish as well. So, but before we send off on away, any sponsor link for tonight's AM win?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for broadcasting, Bucket Family, for the league and everything. I know I'm a newbie here, but I'm just trying to find a spot I can slide in, and just hang out with the guys. And thanks to Ignition Point Racing, all the teammates that was out there tonight. Yeah, it was fun.
And once again, congrats on your best AM finish. We'll see if you see you next week at Dover.
Thank you, sir.
So it was our best AM driver of Joseph Bennett, able to pick up a solid 6th place run and get that AM win tonight. But in front, it was David Owens, able to get our race win by 13 thousandths of a second is the official number. And also, kind of a fun stat I was brought aware to. Only the last 3 Talladega races in the Bonfire Racing League had an average finish of 7,000 7,000ths of a second, 76 10,000ths of a second for those top 3, for the last 3 Talladega finishes here for the Bonfire Racing League. So those, kind of, when we come to Talladega here, the Bonfire Racing League, it is a photo finish a haven for this league. So that was a cool stat there, but definitely, but what's going to come down to next week, going to come down to the Final Four. Didn't really see too many shakeups there, but it kind of, all the bracket drivers able to survive. They were late, but it comes down to the Final Four next week at Dover, and that'll definitely be an interesting race next week at Dover. 1 mile concrete racetrack. Those drivers gonna have to kind of battle their tire and battle each other next week at Dover. Before we get there, coming up next here on the Legends Racing Network, Tuesday night we'll have the Talladega for the Legends Racing League Gen 4 series at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Wednesday night, well, Chase Race number 3, we'll have the Superstar Arc Cup at Iowa, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Thursday night, we'll have the Undisputed Cup Series, their penultimate race to the playoffs at Kansas, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Friday night, we'll have the Indoor Cup Series at 9 o'clock Eastern Time at Kansas as well. And Sunday morning, we'll have the Bonfire Racing at Dover at 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you all there. I'm Aaron Brown. So long here from Talladega. We'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network.